Welcome to episode 6 of the Brilliant Brand Show. In today's episode, I'm going to answer the question that came in from a caller, and they asked, who is the right person for us to be communicating to, and how do we position our message when we go into a rebrand? Welcome to the Brilliant Brands Show. I'm Justin Keller, former accidental marketer and creative director turned church branding expert and entrepreneur. Each episode, I'm unpacking the strategies that I've used to help churches all across America make their story, their brand visuals, and their marketing so brilliantly clear that it's impossible to ignore them. And now, it's your turn. I hope you're ready to challenge the way you see things, rebel against complacency, comfort, and conformity, and find your untold brilliance. Now, let the show begin. Welcome to episode 6 of the Brilliant Brand Show. I'm Justin Keller, your host, and just want to start out by saying thank you, and I appreciate you being here with me here today. And this is the show where I help you learn what it takes to make your brand messaging and your brand strategies so brilliantly clear that they're impossible to ignore. And today's show is special because I'm going to answer a question that came in from one of our listeners, Drew. And I want to go ahead and listen to his question and then go into that and help answer that and learn from his question. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Drew Williams. I'm from Southern California, and I work at a church, and we're about to go into a season of rebranding. And my question is about who should we be writing the vision and mission for? Are we supposed to be trying to craft something that is compelling for the people that are here so that they go, yes, this is us, this is our community? Or are we trying to craft the vision and mission for where we think our community should be to take them on that journey? Because we've gone through a couple of vision and mission statements and kind of part of our branding process, a few of them in just the last few years, and nothing's really stuck yet. And so that temptation to pull back and go, well, maybe we should be writing a more compelling vision, but what does that even mean? Are we trying to create something for the people who are here or for where we want to go? Thanks for listening to my question.
All right, Drew, thank you for that question. And hopefully you received your copy of Rebel Brands, my book that I've should have sent to you, a digital version of that for submitting your question. And actually anybody else who submits questions, if you want to send me one, go to brilliantbrands.com/Q and the letter N and A. And so brilliantbrands.com/Q&A. It should be up on the screen for you. If you submit a question, I send you a digital copy of my book, Rebel Brands, 10 New Rules for Building a Brilliant Brand. And so, Drew, I hope the book's helping you. And this question is actually great. And I think that the answer should help a lot of people, and they'll probably have or find themselves in a similar situation. So I appreciate you putting that out there. So, all right, let's dive into this. I'm going to look at a couple of things here. First, Drew, the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that you said you've gone through multiple iterations of your mission and vision. And so in the last even few years, that's for me, before we start talking about what we're communicating to everybody outside of our church, or let's just say even outside of our staff internally, you need to figure that out first. That core purpose and message should not be changing that often. I mean, even if you have new leadership every couple of years, which I hope is not the case for your church, the core purpose of your church and message should always stay the same. You know, for my company, Circle 50, the core purpose that has existed since day one and exists now, and the way that we articulate that is that we exist to really help people and churches see things differently so they can rebel against complacency, comfort, and conformity, and make the greatest impact possible. And so it doesn't matter what initiatives or what we do, that core purpose needs to stay the same. And so for your church, I think that in your rebranding process, it's a chance to relook at who we are internally. You need to get clarity on who you are first internally before you can ever speak clearly to anyone externally. That's just the simple math right there. And so I would say first start there. What does that look like? I think you and your team, you need to sit down and say, hey, we can't keep changing this. We can't keep asking people to learn something new over and over and over again. We need to figure out who we are and just build upon that. And the reason why it might be changing a lot, I'm not going to, I don't know enough under the hood here to probably give you the right answer for this, but typically when an organization changes often like that, it's because they're changing based on temporary things whether it's, you're in a season where you're trying to go into a building project or you're going into different initiatives. And typically, if you're changing this often, you're changing for the seasons. And I don't know if that's you or not, but other churches, that has been the case that I've seen. And so what I want you and your church to establish first in the rebranding process is who are we, no matter what leadership we have in place. Okay, let's say the pastor leaves tomorrow. This doesn't change. Our core purpose isn't dictated by people or by potential opportunities in front of us. Okay, so your purpose shouldn't be attached to that. All right, so start there. And then the next thing that you're asking is, when we finally understand who we are and get that down, who do we communicate and craft our messaging for? So mission and vision, those types of things, I really would look at those as internal things that you guys should have internally. Those aren't really your message externally anyway. So, there's going to be more on that inside of other episodes that we dive into. And even inside the book that I sent you, you're going to talk about why I actually feel like you can ditch your mission statement. But let's just pretend that you want to have a mission and a vision statement. That should be your internal language. So if you're going to position and structure your brand messaging in a way that still holds on to, a core of, let's have a vision statement and a mission statement, that's internal language. That lives internally. That's in-house messaging. Just like inside of my family, there's things that my wife and I, only her and I know when I say it, or she jokes about it or says it. Like, that's an internal language that we have. And that isn't geared toward anyone externally. That is really an internal, hey, here's what we are aspiring to be. Use that as an internal motivator. Okay, that's all that is. Don't make that your external brand message. So in the rebrand process, you need to establish your external brand message. And that should communicate to people who've always been there, people who, that are there right now, and to those that you're trying to reach. There's not a separate voice for your brand for those who are part of your church and for those who you're trying to reach. It should be the same and be consistent. And so that's how I would answer that for you. I would say figure out who you are at the core first, and then keep vision statements, mission statements internally. Those should not be external marketing messages. Maybe there's times to use them inside, even with the congregation, but your core message for your brand really should be the same to your congregation and to those that you're trying to reach. And so find that external brand message that does resonate with both who are there and those that you're trying to reach. So it has to be both. I know that's not the easy answer, and it's not one or the other. I wish it was as simple as that. But you should be able to land a message and a voice and a brand message that resonates with both those who are there and those you're trying to reach. So I appreciate you joining in on the conversation and sending us that question. Again, if you have a question for me on anything with marketing and messaging and communication and strategies for your church brand, go to brilliantbrands.com/Q and the letter N and A. So brilliantbrands.com/Q&A, and I'll go ahead and answer that. So that's it for this episode of the Brilliant Brand Show. But if you are eager to learn the new standard for church messaging and some of the things I just talked about and marketing, and you want to start building a brand built on promises kept and a message that does resonate with both internally, your congregation, and externally with those you're trying to reach, just go to brilliantbrands.com. You can learn more there, and you can learn more about our one-day Brilliant Brand session. And you can go ahead and grab my book, Rebel Brands, and even find out more things inside of that will help you with this if you're eager to learn how to communicate for your church brand. Thanks for joining me on today's show. Show notes will be up in the on the website at brilliantbrands.com/episode 6. And if you have any other questions or comments, just send me an email. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Is this helping you? What can I do to help you even more? Please give me your feedback. One of our brand promises is no fluff, and I expect the same from you to me. So send me your thoughts, good and bad, justin@justinkeller.com, or let's get the conversation going on social media using the handle @KellerThinks. And as always, it means the world to me that you would go over to iTunes and subscribe it, and even take it one step further and rate the show. This is personal to me. I really want to impact more people through this in church creatives. And so by you rating it, it helps. It helps a lot. And so it means a lot. And feel free to share this with anybody you think it will help. Let's stay connected. And until next time, I hope that you make today great.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. The Brilliant Brand Show is powered by Circle 50 Creative. You can learn more about how we help ministries solve critical ministry moments with the right message, brand visuals, and strategies at circle50.com.